with Leoner Stjepic. I hope that I've done justice to the name. And as a person who came from the education background as well, I found that her stories were inspiring, and the talk about the digital revolution and how it has helped human beings bridging the learning and bridging the opportunities with a lot of people, and especially for women. And she also talked about how the technology has revolutionized information gathering in some parts of the world. It was also interesting the fact that she touched about that, because it just reminded me of the digital divide that we still have in Malaysia at the same time, at the rural part of Malaysia, certain parts of Sabah and Sarawak, and all that. But so here's the thing. She also cautioned about the heavy reliance on devices such as mobile phone. Remember, like that. Yeah. So remember we were talking about this, how the youngsters, they tend to get glued to the phone. And there was a time when I myself was just kind of married to the phone, and it makes you upset, but yeah, only during the time. Okay. And but she also touched on something really interesting at the same time, which I perfectly understand, that our current lives rely a lot on algorithm. Yeah, and this has effect unconscious or conscious biasness on gender preferences. For example, there are so many women out there who's doing some shopping online. So the minute we set the setting in some of the platform, it just kind of wish out all the things that the program designers think that women like, which is not, I think, the right thing to do. So again, it has some flip side when we rely heavily on algorithm. And she also said, again, it's interesting because there are many program designers are male. So perhaps, conscious, unconscious biasness has been embedded inside the algorithm with all of these programs. Now, talking about social media, which is close and dear to my heart, and I was also telling a story about her colleague, where her younger colleague had left her phone, and she was kind of upset because she feels that she's not connected to the world. And here she is, said, hey, you know what, I have my phone. And I thought that was very interesting, because that demonstrates some in terms of diversity between intergeneration. And that reminds me the story of our daughter at the same time. She's kind of glued to her phone because she wanted to have access to the social media. Yeah. Takeaways from a session, and that really resonates, was number one, we all need to have emotional resilience as the world is constantly changing. And I find that so true, for the reason that all of us just came out from the lockdown of RMO. We're still in the extended RMO, but without the emotional resilience, how the work that we do, I've seen quite a bit of challenges, and a lot of people who's got locked down during the RMO. So without the emotional resilience, either you're you feel very lonely, and you feel being unsupported throughout your journey. So the second thing that she said, that all of us need that support from the network, so that one can have a safe space to be themselves. And she was relating to a fact of a story where a CEO who is also her colleague had opened up to her, because she feels that Leonor has given her that safe space for her to be herself. And I think that is so true when you are in a certain role, or a certain power, I would say. You cannot be as serious, or you can't be as yourself. It gets kind of lonely out there. But I think as an individual, as a person, I could sense that it is very important to create that safe space, to find that support, to be in a safe space, to be yourself. We can't always put up a barrier out there. And the third thing, and this really makes me realize that we as being in an Asian environment, we are always expected to be humble, to be respectful of others and all that. But we tend to forget that we also need to be respected at the same time. But if we are demonstrating behavior that we do not deserve to be respected, then I suppose you don't need to be respected. And the third thing that she said was, you need to be expected to be respected. And I thought that was, wow.
Sorry, what was that point?
You need to expect to be respected.
Hmm.
And I thought that was quite a statement. Growing up in Asian culture is something that you don't expect to do. You don't expect to be respected.
Mm-hmm.
But as a human being, it's I suppose that is you need to be kind, you need to be empathetic towards others, walk in other people's shoes.